Hi, it's Les, and in this video on freelance copywriting for beginners, I'm going to tear down the body content of an email, a successful email used in email marketing. So by the end of this video, you'll know how to write content in your emails that grabs and holds the reader's attention. In this video, I'm going to look at the text you write inside an email, usually as part of an email marketing campaign, and I'm going to show you how to construct that text so that your readers, the reader of the email, is going to be hanging on your every word and actually looking forward to receiving emails from you in their inbox. Now, this is the second in a series of 3 videos I've made that tear down business emails and show you how to make them super effective. In the first video in this series, we looked at writing killer headlines, and this is the second one, and in the third one, we'll look at how to write a call to action that makes the reader take the action you want them to take once they've read the email. So in a series of steps 1, 2, 3, if you put all 3 videos together, you'll be well on the way to writing killer emails that can get you very well paid indeed. Now, don't worry if you haven't watched the first video. At the end of this video, I'll link you to the first video and the third video so that you can watch each of the videos in the series. Doesn't really matter what order you watch them in, just make sure that you watch all 3 to get the information on the headlines, the body copy, and the call to action in your emails. Now, one thing to bear in mind, as I've said before, is that writing emails can be very well paid. I mean, they're normally quite short, 200 to 300 words, and clients that are looking for this kind of work, there's 290 odd billion emails a day written, so the scope for this kind of work is huge. Okay, so once you learn this skill, it's something that can get you very well paid indeed. Okay, now let's consider the tone of voice you could use in an email, or in fact in any copy. Your clients are probably going to want to use a particular tone of voice to get the message across, and not all clients are the same. So I'm going to read some examples to you, and basically the tone of voice is what you want to sound like in the email. So how do you want your emails to sound, and how does your client want the emails to sound? So let's start off with a couple of examples of tone of voice to get you going. So the first one we'll look at is passionate. So passionate, and I'll read these from the screen, I'll pop them up on the screen for you as well. So passionate, we're passionate about changing the way the world works. Okay, you're being a champion in your emails, you're being a cheerleader. So you're passionate about your product, your service, whatever it is you're talking about in the email, you're passionate about it, okay? Over and above passionate, we can talk about quirky. And quirky means we're not afraid to challenge the status quo and be ourselves. All right, so a little bit of quirky in there. You can use unexpected examples, things that will surprise people, things that they wouldn't expect. And you can take a contrarian viewpoint. So that means you don't have to go with the flow. You can stand out on your own and take a viewpoint that suits your quirky voice. Okay, and then also over and above in quirky, you can express yourself. So being quirky is a great way of expressing yourself within your emails and obviously your other copy as well. Be a little bit careful with quirky. It's not the tone of voice that every business wants. So use it as and when appropriate, but used in the right way, it can be very, very effective indeed. Okay, now there's like a secondary characteristic of quirky, which is irreverent. And to explain irreverent to you, basically we take our products seriously, but we don't take ourselves seriously. All right? So in this tone of voice, you can be playful, you can use colourful illustrations and colourful examples. So again, a little bit of leeway there to be creative. Over and above being quirky, you can be irreverent, use that tone of voice. And the final one is to be authentic, which is one which is used quite a lot these days. And authentic, to explain that tone of voice to you, we take our products seriously, but we don't take ourselves seriously. So here you can be playful, you can use colourful illustrations or examples. So that's kind of 4 different tones of voice that you can adapt in your email writing. You can be passionate, you can be quirky, you can be irreverent, and you can be authentic, okay? Now bear one thing in mind here, which is quite important. The tone of voice you choose to use will depend on how your client sees their business and the tone of voice they want you to use. So make sure you understand exactly how your client sees it before diving into any of these different tones of voices. So how do you decide what to put into your email copy? And this is the critical thing, deciding what to put into your email copy and at what stage of an email sequence, for example. So a useful way to look at this is a useful tool, and I'll read from the screen, is to look at the 5 stages of awareness, okay? And basically what the 5 stages of awareness is telling you is where is that potential customer in their buying life cycle, on their customer journey. Now the stuff I'm going to talk about here, the 5 stages of awareness, was attributed to Brian Clark of Copyblogger, although I've seen very similar stuff elsewhere. All right, but let's go attribute this to Brian, and I'll take you through what he says. So in the first stage, your potential customer is completely unaware. So this is right at the start of the customer journey. So they have no knowledge of anything except perhaps their own identity or opinion. So right at the start, they're completely unaware, and they have no idea of a problem, a solution, anything of that nature. And it's interesting because at this stage, when they're completely unaware, that's when you would write longer emails, because you kind of want to educate them. You want to bring this awareness up. So as you go through this, you would tend to write longer emails at the start, and they would get shorter as you go along. So that's stage 1, which is completely unaware. The second stage of awareness is problem aware. So the reader senses they have a problem, but they don't know there's a solution. So at this stage, they're kind of at stage 2. They've identified they've got a problem, but there's no idea of a solution. So it follows on from that the next stage would be solution aware. And what that means is the potential customer or the reader knows the result they want, but not that your product supplies that solution. So at this stage, which is stage 3, they know they've got a problem, they know there's a solution, but they're not convinced that your product supplies that solution. So when you go on to stage 4, the potential client, the potential customer, is now product aware. That means that your reader knows what you have to offer, so they know you have something to offer, so they know they've got a problem, they know there's a solution, they know you've got a solution, they know what you have to offer, but they're not sure if it's right for them, all right? And then the 5th stage of the 5 stages of awareness is where they are the most aware. So your reader now knows the product, you explain it to them through your copywriting and emails, and they only need to know the deal you have to offer. So at this stage, they know they've got a problem, they know you've got a solution, they know your solution fits, and all they're looking for is the deal. All right? So that's the 5 stages of awareness. Just to quickly recap, completely unaware where they don't know anything, problem aware, they know they've got a problem, but they're not aware of a solution. Solution aware, they know that you've got a solution, but they don't know if it fits them. Product aware, and they know you've got a product which potentially could help them. And then on the 5th stage of the awareness cycle, they're the most aware, and that's when it's you're ready to close the customer down. They're just looking at the deal and what you have to offer. All right, so that was the 5 stages of awareness. I hope you found that useful. Just a final tip I want to give you about emails, and I see this mistake all the time, so give you a heads up, don't do this. And the tip I want to give you is not to overcrowd your email. Now, what do I mean by that? When you write emails, I'd rather err on the side of making your lines very short. A couple of tips here. Don't make the line any longer than, don't make the sentence any longer than 2 lines. 2 lines is long enough, okay? And don't do big blocks of text. That's very hard to read. It's going to put a reader off. Try and put, if you can, 1 sentence per line, and leave white space between your text, so it's easy for the reader to read and easy for the reader to digest. That's a little tip there. You think about it. When's the last time you looked at something and it's a big, huge block of text? You're not going to want to read it, okay? So, space your text out, 1 sentence per line. Don't make sentences longer than 1 line, and plenty of white space between your text. So that's about it. This was the second email in the series where we looked at the body text of an email. As I said, there's 3 emails in the series, 1, 2, 3. The first one is about writing amazing headlines. This is the second one, which is about the body text. And the third one in the series is about the call to action, or the CTA, okay? So what I'll do is, just in case you haven't seen the first one, or you want to move on to, obviously, from the second one to the third one, it doesn't really matter what order you watch them in, as long as you watch them all. But what I'll do for you now is I'll put links on the screen, have a look, put them together, you'll be writing killer emails in no time at all. Okay guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, talk again soon. Ciao.